when you get to, as we just mentioned, Congress, House and Senate, you can count on two hands the number of Republicans who actually want to do anything about this right now. The others want their own version of Obamacare, their own version of amnesty, their own version of the continuing resolution. There isn't any opposition. You can count on 10 people probably who are daily not afraid to speak up about their opposition to what is happening. And by that I mean Obama and Democrat policies. So that's all I'm saying. When Trippy says Obama, don't mention Limbaugh, let me do that. In addition to politics, there's a little media competitive. It's not so much because he's liberal, but he's in the media now, and I'm sure that these guys would love to have Obama mentioning their name. That's all I'm saying. It's no more complicated than that. Now and I don't mean to be calling anybody out, and it doesn't matter to me anyway because things are what they are. But this is the continuation of that conversation that Trippy was having with Greta about, Obama mentioning me and whether or not that good, bad, indifferent makes sense or not.
He singles out, in this instance, Rush Limbaugh. Yeah. It makes him look like Rush is really under his skin, and as I think Rush says, it lives rent-free in his head. I mean, it really does. I mean, there's something very different about it than just saying, well, there's a fight in the two parties. I mean, there's something different about it.
No, you're right about that, and it puts a light on Rush. It actually makes Rush, empowers him, makes him even bigger than he might be. I mean, if the President of the United States calling you out, that's good for you. So I would have left that up to Democratic strategists and folks like me that are out there, and they've got, and I don't really understand it. I agree with you. I think it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Let me explain it to you. Joe, let me explain it to you. Back in December of 2008 or January of 2009, the Democrats did a poll. And that poll showed that I am the most hated Republican in a poll of Republican names, elected and unelected. And so, Democrats, you know this as well as I do, Joe, everything is done by polling. So if my name shows up, they'll use it. So in the first, you should go back and look this up, Joe, first 2 weeks of Obama's administration as a leader of all the congressional people, Senate, House, Republican, Democrat, and he tells Boehner and these guys to stop listening to me, that's not how things get done in Washington. And that's because of a poll that was there. Or maybe he really believes it. And ever since, whenever they do a poll, my name must show up, and that's why my name is mentioned. That's why these guys do it. There's another reason. They think that they have this goes back to Open Line Friday question. We had this guy ask me, how come with all of these assaults on you, all these attacks over 25 years, how come you're still number one? How have you withstood it? Well, in their minds, they think that they have so successfully demonized me that calling me the leader of the Republican Party is a way to make sure that the low information voter never, ever looks at the Republican Party in a positive light. And this is what the Washington Post babe said was the reason Obama mentions my name. I think it's much more involved and detailed than that. But there is some branding in it. But the real reason is that they haven't been able to take me out, and they keep trying. That's what is propelling it all. They haven't been able to destroy the relationship that I have with you, the audience of this program, and that befuddles them, and they keep trying. So all of these reasons are applicable. And this goes back a long time. Let's go back to 2004, the Democrat primaries. We have a montage of Howard Dean on the stump. 2004, Howard Dean attempting to get the Democrat presidential nomination.
We are taking our country back piece by piece from the Rush Limbaugh. You have the power to take back our country so that the flag no longer represents solely Rush Limbaugh. You have the power to take back our country so that the flag never again is the sole property of Rush Limbaugh. You have the power to take back our country so that the flag of the United States is no longer the sole property of Rush Limbaugh. This country does not belong to Rush Limbaugh. Move over. I want my country back again because the flag of this country does not belong to Rush Limbaugh. You have the power to take back the flag so it does no longer belong solely to Rush Limbaugh. Ah!
There must have been somebody in his audiences with the American flag and the stars and stripes, except the stars must have been a picture of me. Everywhere he looked and saw the American flag, Howard Dean saw me. Candy Crowley, CNN, this is Friday night, Situation Room. The fill-in host is Jessica Yellen, and it's time to promote Candy Crowley and her Sunday show, State of the Union. And they're talking about Obama saying the Republicans are afraid of me. That happened on Friday morning. They were still talking about it Friday night. Jessica Yellen said to Candy Crowley, does the president have a point in what he said to Chris Cuomo, which is Republicans are scared of some of their constituents?
Absolutely, they are. Well, they're scared of a challenge from the right. I'm not sure about the Rush Limbaugh part as much as we absolutely know that there are Tea Party challengers out there on the Senate side and the House side willing to go after these guys.
So Jessica Yellen then continued with her interview.
We've heard the president talk about what he doesn't like from, as you say, Rush Limbaugh, Republicans in Congress. What is his play? What can he do to get something done in the budget fights in the fall?
It's always better if they can get him out of Washington in August, and he looks better on the road talking from the perspective of the American people about what they need than he does in Washington talking about how he can't do anything. And so I think this is going to be a campaign moment for the White House.
Right. So I'm on their brain, in their brain, no matter where they go. Here's Don Lemon, CNN again. By the way, this does not include all the mentions at MSNBC who are still under a ban on this program. I've got a ban on anything said on MSNBC ever appearing here. Why give those people added audience? Why amplify the literal insanity that happens on that network? So they're banned, which, of course, forces us over to CNN if we're going to get sound bites of Democrats. And here Don Lemon, the anchor, is speaking to New York One Road to City Hall host Errol Lewis about Obama, saying that Republicans agree with him but are afraid of me. And this is how that went.
Do these people exist, these Republicans who secretly agree with the president but fear Rush Limbaugh? Have you ever met any of them?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, no, absolutely they do. I mean, look, people go into the legislature because they like deal-making and compromise, and they've probably done it all their life at the city council level or as county commissioners or in their state legislature. They get to Congress into this incredibly polarized situation, and they can't make a move. Mm-hmm. And party leadership is demanding that they take 40 worthless, waste of time votes just to make a point. And it's not really what a lot of people went into politics for.
Oh, absolutely, the president's right about that. Absolutely, these Republicans fear Rush Limbaugh because Rush Limbaugh doesn't tolerate deal-making and compromise. And that's all these people want to do, from the first day of dog catcher all up to town council and city hall. That's all they do in politics, make deals. And they get to Washington, that's why they want to go. They want to make deals, and they get there and they can't because of Rush Limbaugh. So this is what these people really think. Have you noticed something listening to these clips? There's something that every one of them has in common. Every clip that we've played so far has been the media or a guest bouncing off of Obama, mentioning me as the number one problem in this country. When you boil it all down, that's what he's saying. Yeah, these Republicans, you know, they're afraid of Limbaugh. The reason they won't agree with me is because they're afraid of Limbaugh. In every one of these clips, and we played 8 of them now, not a word about Obama's policies and the destruction taking place in the country. Not a word about what Obama has done to the Constitution, flouting it, ignoring it. Not a word from these people in the media about what Obama's policies have done to the people. No jobs, debt, housing values. Not a word about Obama's unilateral actions. Not a word about Obama's evisceration and destruction of the healthcare system. Not a word about Obama and his policies' relationship to high unemployment. Nothing. Not a single word. Every soundbite accepts the Obama premise that the problem in America is me. And if it weren't for me, if I weren't on the radio, that there would be all of this progress because the Republicans would have no one to be afraid of. And then they could cave totally and agree with Obama. So in all of these sound bites, a guy on the radio, the premise is that a guy on the radio is stopping the most powerful man in the world. Damn it. The media accepts that premise. There is not one syllable that analyzes Obama's role in the state of this country. They all agree something's wrong with the country, but they agree that it's me, not Obama. And I haven't done anything to the country. I don't have any power to do anything. I can't give money away to buy listeners. I can't pay listeners off with phones or food stamps or anything. I can't come by my audience by buying it. I can't promise my audience anything and then give it to them. I can't get an audience by telling the audience how rotten all the other hosts are, which I don't do anyway. But Obama does all that. Obama buys votes, he buys love, he buys affection, and then he goes out and he tells everybody how rotten other politicians are in the Republican Party. I don't do any of that, and I'm the problem. As stated by the President of the United States, I'm the problem. If I were just not here, if I just go away, or if the Republicans would grow a pair and no longer be afraid of me, why, who knows what they could all get done together. So these sound bites feature not one word of what the President of the United States has done. Not one word about the policies of the President of the United States or his party. Every one of these sound bites so far has just talked about how divided we all are, and how poor old Obama has got such great things he wants to do, but he can't because of me. And because of me, conservatives won't roll over. Even conservatives who aren't in government won't roll over. Now, I personally find this fascinating. Simply as a study. I mean, this would be an excellent study for one of you scholars in waiting, wanting to do a research paper or a doctoral thesis. We got 17 sound bites today. In every one of them, I'm the problem. In every one of them, if I would simply cease being here, if the Republicans would grow a pair, then Obama's greatness could not be denied. A guy on the radio from noon to 3 every day. Not one word about Obama's policies and their effect and impact. Not one word about what Obama's done in destroying the greatest healthcare system in the world. What Obama's doing to America's energy fortunes. What Obama has done to the debt circumstance, people's home values, student loans, the worthlessness of an education. None of that is discussed. None of the real destruction taking place in this country and why is being discussed at all. What's being discussed is why Obama can't get anything done. And it's me. A bunch of conservatives won't roll over and finally just play dead. All because of me. And compared to Obama, I don't have any power at all. It's the most amazing thing, all I'm able to do here. If you listen to the media, if you listen to Obama whine and complain, and you hear the media pick up his refrain, if you hear the media accept his premise, they then start whining and moaning about me and all the greatness that lurks out there but isn't happening because of me. Somebody who doesn't have, in a comparative sense, any real political power at all. Sometimes I was telling Mr. Snerdley, I dream how big my audience could be if I could give away $38,000 to every American. If I could give every American food. If I could give every American who doesn't have one a cell phone. And by the way, if I were going to do that, it'd be iPhones, not that cheap stuff Obama gives away. Think of the audience I could have. Yeah, all I have to do is listen for a week. That's all it would take me. Just look at the size audience I would have. And then if I had a media, if I had the whole media making my case for me and defending everything I'm doing, and if I had the media destroying every other talk show host, wonder how big my audience would be. Wonder how much power I would really have. But I can't give anybody $38,000 a year like he can, or 50. I can't give everybody a phone. I cannot give everybody food stamps. I cannot grant illegal aliens citizenship or their parents with a snap of my fingers. I can't buy one listener. In fact, it's worse than that. My success is largely determined by how many of my listeners actually spend their money. Obama couldn't compete in my business, but I could compete in his. You give me $3 trillion to give away, play Santa Claus with, and a media that rips into everybody I don't like and destroys them, why, nobody could stop me either.
America's beacon of freedom. Rush on the EIB network.